Today, we're going to be learning about the occulted meaning behind The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. Majora's Mask was released as a direct sequel to The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time for the Nintendo 64 and later the Nintendo 3DS. According to Hyrule Historia, Majora's Mask is preceded by Ocarina of Time and succeeded by Twilight Princess. This is important. In Ocarina of Time, the Happy Mask Salesman appears right before Link opens the Door of Time. This is also the same time period Princess Zelda sends Link back to upon defeating Ganon. We'll come to find that this is when an entity from Japanese folklore known as a Shinigami sets its sights on Link. Majora's Mask opens and closes in an area of Hyrule known as the Lost Woods. In Ocarina of Time, it is learned that aliens who are lost in these woods become Stalfos. It is also hinted that Skull Kids are lost alien children. Link is looking for his companion Navi. When suddenly Epona is startled, knocking Link unconscious. Then a mysterious and masked imp appears out of nowhere, as if it were a ghost. A study of Japanese folklore will reveal a small ghost-like being known as a Shikigami. Shikigamis are conjured demons summoned to track enemies, spy, and steal. It is also known to create illusions, putting its victims into altered states or hallucinations. Because Shikigamis are evil spirits, it is said if one is careless, their Shikigami can become uncontrollable, attacking and raiding its own master. This is the secret of the mask. In folklore, a Shikigami is a summoned spirit contained inside of origami. In-game, the mask replaces origami as the ritual item. Shikigamis can perform possessions. In-game, the Shikigami in Majora's Mask possesses the lost alien child, or Skull Kid, to do its bidding. There are also certain people known as the Onmyuji, which are basically sorcerers. Some of their duties historically included keeping of the calendar and containing evil spirits. This is what the Happy Mask Salesman is, who interestingly enough was changed in the 3DS version to give Link the Bomber's Notebook, the in-game calendar of Majora's Mask. Like I mentioned in the beginning, Shinigamis are spirits that lead people towards death when it is their time. They are only visible to people who are about to die. They like to work in pairs or through people. They are prone to outbursts. They lead their victims to places people have died before, like mountains, canyons, seas, swamps, and even deep woods. According to legend, if the one led to these areas does not die, the previous souls can move on in peace. All transformation masks obtained are the result of a death. So, in closing, the Happy Mask Salesman is an Onmyuji, or a practitioner of the dark arts. This is why the Shiki and Shinigamis surround him. This is why he appears before Link opens the Door of Time, better known as the ending of Ocarina of Time, aka the starting of Majora's Mask. The spirits of death that surround the Happy Mask Salesman end up giving Link a very valuable lesson. Link had started his entire journey in Majora's Mask because Navi had vanished. With Ocarina of Time's story being obviously about time's flow, Majora's Mask is clearly about letting go. Link's journey in Majora's Mask is about parting from loved ones and moving on. In the swamp, we see the pain of a father who has lost their son. In the rage of a father who has lost their daughter. In the mountains, we see the pain of a child who has lost their father. And the tribulations of a long cold winter the people would have to endure without their hero. In the seas, we see the sacrifice of a father for his unborn children's life, and the pain of the widow. Finally, we see a little girl, lonely in a land of death, estranged from a father who is obsessed with it. Link is caught up in this himself. He's lost his partner Navi and drives himself to death in the Lost Woods. Link is an Hylian child who is lost in the Lost Woods. Link cannot escape his fate. The evidence for this is the hero Shade from Twilight Princess. Who is the Link from Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. Astolphos. The tree stump at the end of the game bears an image of Link and the Skull Kid, accompanied by 4 giants in the background. 4 symbolizes death in Japanese culture. Another interesting thing to note is the mushrooms at the start of the game. In Majora's Mask 3D, they've been changed to these red and white spotted mushrooms. This goes into the hallucinations mentioned earlier. In the N64 version, these mushrooms are not the same. These red and white mushrooms are the Amanita muscaria. These mushrooms are also known as the fly agaric, and they make for very potent psychedelic drugs. The evidence I present for this is the fact that these mushrooms are used in other Nintendo games. I've made a lot of other videos on this. Furthermore, you can obtain these items in-game with the scent mask, a rather aromatic mushroom. These thrive in places that are slightly damp. All of this weirdness combined to form an allegory of psychological crisis, spiritual journey, a brush with death, or a full-blown hallucination. Regardless, the land of Termina is not real. It's been said by the creators it's like a terminal where one waits. That would make one think of purgatory, or maybe terminal as in ill. Termina can't be real. It includes all of the NPCs from Ocarina of Time with different identities, implying an alternate dimension, if you will. This is a very occult game. A lot went into this game. And you gotta understand, every theory that's put out about this game is legitimate. But at the end of the day, it opens and closes in the Lost Woods.